The following is a presentation of the Eagles Sports Network.
Alongside Carson-Newman women's basketball coach Mike Mincey, I'm Michael Watchering as the Lady Eagles get set for a road trip to Brevard. And, Coach, I want to hit on something you talked about the other day after the Wingate game where you said that you're a really good 8-6 basketball team. Well, you look at the region, the top 4 teams in the region are all teams that you lost to. So there's 4 of your 6 losses, a 1-point loss to LR, and then that 5-point overtime loss to Wingate. How do you make sure that your team understands that there's still a lot of season left and that you are indeed a really good basketball team?
We've talked about it from the get-go about how difficult our schedule is and how we've played a lot of the top teams in our region. And, of course, we still have a few left to go. You know, when we talk about maybe Anderson. And they know that we're good. They know that obviously the LMU game was a winnable game. Obviously the Wingate game was certainly a winnable game. The game at LR was winnable. We felt like we competed well at North Georgia and at Columbus State, and those were road games. But I think you just got to stay true to our process and our scheme and what we're trying to do, and know that we were one play away from having a much better record than what we have right now. I mean, it's still a winning record, but it can certainly be a lot better.
With that being said, how do you make sure that this team is prepared for those one plays late in the game?
We typically don't do it in terms of we've had situational practices before where we try to work on things, but because of what's happened in 3 games this year, we actually went through it today, and try to get into some situational stuff. And we've talked about some things. We've watched it on film about what are we trying to do, and it's just like the game the other day. You don't want to give Wingate an opportunity to win the game. You want to get the shot off, and it either be us win it or we go to overtime. And so it's given us an opportunity to talk about some things that maybe other teams aren't talking about because they're winning those games, to make sure that our players understand exactly what we're trying to do when it gets down in crunch time.
You get Brevard on Wednesday night, and it's been a series that has gotten closer over the last 5 meetings or so. Average marginal victory for you, just about 10 after it seemed to be really lopsided prior to that. What do you expect from this year's group with Madison Lennox leading the charge?
We think they're very talented. They just don't have a deep bench, and that's probably the thing that gets them a lot of times is they play people really tight. Once again, we're talking about what Brevard can do to us and what they're very capable of doing. They played LMU tight at home. They played Wingate tight at their place, at LMU and at Wingate. But, they get in the third quarter, and I think they just get winded and wore down. Lennox is a great player. I don't know if she's in top 15 in the country in scoring. I know she's number 1 in our league. And, she can get to the rim against just about anybody. It's going to be a mismatch for us because we're not real sure who we're going to put on her, whether it's a big in Jekka or a big in Micah. And, of course, the Bollinger kid is doing a great job, and number 3 is doing a good job. So anytime you go to Brevard, and this goes for anybody in our league, they're going to play you very tough there. And if you go over there looking at their record and not looking at and appreciating the good players that they have, you're very easy can walk away with a loss.
Coach, thanks for the time. Best of luck Wednesday.
Thank you.
He's Carson-Newman women's basketball coach Mike Mincey. I'm Michael Watchering on SeeingEagles.com.